It is easy to forget that even the simplest movements involve complex cognitive and physical processes. The human body alone consists of more than 200 joints and more than 600 muscles, and it is this incredibly intricate machine that allows us to move. It is the ability to move that has given humans the remarkable flexibility to do everything from landing spaceships on the moon to moonwalking on Earth. Project Tango is a platform for mobile devices that can interpret human movement in interesting new ways. My name is Nicolai, and in this video I will show you the basics of designing apps and games with motion tracking that feels natural to users. When designing for motion, you have to consider how a user moves naturally, which physical setting they will be in, and why they need to move. You may have seen how mobile devices can track movement in games and apps by using rotational tracking. You may have used it to look around Google Street View on racing games to control the steering wheel. However, if you only track the device rotation, you have to come up with other ways to move in the app. You can do so by tapping on the screen or by using virtual D-pads to go places. If the user is looking at a virtual moon colony, like here, they can use the device rotation to look around, but they need another input method like virtual D-pads to move around. The lack of fine-grained tracking in current mobile devices limits what we can do with them. A Project Tango device solves these problems by adding a camera system that, like us humans, uses visual recognition to keep track of itself. This allows the user to not only rotate, but also move the device in any direction they choose and see it reflected in their app. You can implement this on a small scale. The users can use this input method to view the moon colony while sitting at a table. This works great if the virtual world is small. In this example, we have constrained the user so they don't get up and walk away. But what if the user did get up and walked away? Project Tango can track at large scale too. This means the user does not need to stay seated, but can move around freely and naturally. In that case, the user will have a much larger play space and could explore more of the colony or the craters of the moon. In the virtual worlds we create, you can do things you can't do in real life. You can run really fast and move very slowly. This is how it looks if we move at normal speed. So, if you're tracking the user's movement through the physical world, a safe bet is to map the physical motion proportionally to the virtual. If we once again walk at normal speed, but slow down the user's virtual movement, it can look like this. Notice how we have to walk really far before we get past that building block? Not only is this not very exciting, it can create a feeling that the entire system is unable to keep up, or that everything in the world is unnaturally big. On the other hand, it would be great if we could move at supersonic speed in the virtual world instead, right? Not so fast. If we speed up motion, so you only have to walk a little to get far, things can start to feel jittery. In other words, things are easiest to comprehend and use if they behave naturally, like we're used to. At times there may be good reasons to letting the user move faster or slower than they really are. For example, if they are attempting to sightsee the entire moon on foot or probing very tiny moon rocks. In these cases, we have found that providing a way to manually adjust the speed makes it less confusing, such as a speed boost button to skip the boring bits on the way to the moon crater. When you integrate motion tracking in the user experience, think about what kind you need. Are you creating a small world that fits on a table? Or will it require the whole building to fit? You will need to decide on rotation, small scale, large scale, or a combination for the tracking and how to make it feel natural. Users always have expectations, even when bouncing around their virtual space colony. Visit our Google+ community and join us on our journey. We are excited to see what you will build with Project Tango.